right, so let's move on to new wines from all over the world, actually. Where is Jay?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a little late, but
Jay,
man,
what's going on? I know
there?
it's windy, and I'm actually pretty cold, as you can see, but...
no, this is my party shirt. It's
your
party
Porsche?
time.
Party time when it's so, when it's so cold and windy?
That's when you got to go inside and party down.
Okay, enjoy.
All right. This is a Pinot Noir from New Zealand. As you can see, I'm wearing my party shirt. What's interesting about Pinot Noirs in general is the first thing you can see right off the bat is their color. Very different than almost any other red wine. So let's talk about this. South Island Pinot Noir.
Yep.
Tell us about Pinot Noir.
Usually Goose Bay, most people know Goose Bay for the great Sauvignon Blanc. Their Pinot Noir is not as well known yet. Pinot Noir also is known as the red grape variety from Burgundy. It also grows very nicely in other regions in the world, in some places in California, even in Israel they make some.
Also,
and New Zealand.
And also they will tell you, speak to winemakers, and I have spoken to hundreds, who tell you that Pinot Noir is known as the winemaker's wine.
Yeah.
It is so delicate and it is so sensitive to how you make it and when you harvest it and how you process it. It can really make a tremendous difference in the winemaking, more so than most other varieties.
Correct. Pinot Noir is a very finicky grape. It's got a very thin skin, and hence the light color compared to Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Shiraz. It's really different. It's
Good wine to start with
body.
of the wines from what? All over the world?
Yes, we have 5 wines today from all over the world.
So I would imagine, just like you would do in a dinner, this would probably be the lightest of the 5.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here we go. Pinot Noir. It's got that raspberry, cherry,
red currants.
Goose Bay Pinot Noir. Nice wine.
Very nice.
Let's go to the next.
Next one. So here is the next wine, Jay. Terra di Seta. Terra di Seta Winery is an estate winery, boutique winery in Italy, the first fully kosher winery in Italy. They specialize in Chianti. They're in Tuscany, which are wines that are made either from 100% Sangiovese, sometimes with just a little bit added of Cabernet Sauvignon.
And if you're lucky enough, they have a little bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough and it's empty, which is not so usual these days, you can get to stay there overnight. And the people that run it, tell us about them. They're such wonderful people.
Daniele della Seta and his lovely wife, Maria Pellegrini. They're amazing people.
And he's also a professor of chemistry.
Yeah, that's correct. And now he's so busy with the winery that I think he doesn't really teach anymore.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is made from 100% Sangiovese.
And this wine got a 93 points Wine Spectator.
What's interesting about Chianti is that you can buy Chianti for like $10, $12, $15, and you can buy Chianti for close to $100.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same grape, but it depends on where the vineyard is, how they aged it, et cetera, et cetera. So we have the Terra di Seta Reserva Chianti 2012, delicious bottle of wine from yet another different region in the world. Okay, what are we doing next? So now we went all the way from Italy to South America.
South America, Argentina.
Like literally 2 ends of the world.
Yep.
If you took a flight from Italy to South America to Argentina, what would that be, like 15 hours or something?
At least.
At least, I would guess, right?
Unfortunately, I've never been to Argentina yet. And you have been many times.
I've been many times. I'm actually, I just came back.
Oh, yeah.
I just came back. But I will tell you what's interesting about this Fleches de los Andes is that not only is it a wonderful winery in and of itself, it's also part of the Rothschild group of wineries.
Yes.
And they won't put their name on anything that isn't just absolutely top quality.
Exactly.
So this is a 100% Malbec.
Yes.
It's from Mendoza, which is known as the best place to grow Malbec. Also Malbec, many people don't know this, is one of the grape varieties that can be used in Bordeaux.
Yeah, it's a variety that's originally coming from Bordeaux. It's also well known as making varietal wines in the region of Cahors in France, which is close to Bordeaux. And Argentina has adopted that grape variety, and it's like officially now the official national grape variety of Argentina. And yes,
I'm just looking at the
Malbec
color.
was
You have
fantastic there.
dark red and maroon and even a little purple. So, and this is a wine that is what vintage?
2016.
So this is a relatively young wine for its type, but still to be this purple and to be this dark and black in the center. Let's taste it.
Also, if it's a 2016 from Argentina, does that mean that it was harvested in September, October 2016? No.
They have, because they're in South America, and if you ever, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on air, but if you ever flush your toilet, you know, the toilet goes clockwise. In Argentina, it goes the other way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the gravity of the earth, it's really true. And check it out next time you're in Argentina. But, you know, or actually Google it. You'll see I'm talking to the right thing. But that means also that summer and winter are opposite too. So when we're harvesting in July or August or September, they're in the middle of their winter. And vice versa. When they're in January, February, that's when they're harvesting.
Yeah, yeah. February, March. That's about the time they start to harvest. So this wine is actually almost 3 years old.
So we have the Fletches, the Grand Malbec.
Yes.
And it's a Rothschild property, and it's quite delicious. Here's looking at you, kid.
Hi.
So this next wine originally was only available at the winery, I remember.
Not only available
Initially.
at the winery, but for the wine club, and then they decided to make it more available to a few different.
So we're
stores.
tasting.
So it's hard to get.
It's hard to get. It's a Herzog Petit Syrah. It's from Clarksburg, which is their
from
own
the Prince Vineyard. Yeah.
their own estate vineyard that they own and grow their own grapes for. So it's what we call vertically integrated, meaning they control not only the winemaking process, not only buying and getting the right grapes, but actually growing the grapes as well, which, you know, almost can be considered a state. The only reason it's not a state is because it's a little bit far
from the winery.
From the winery, and by law you can't call it that, I believe. But let's smell it.
It's got that. Petit Syrah is a very, it's a grape that gives very concentrated wines, very full-bodied, extracted.
It also, it's an older vineyard, from what I understand, and it's quite vegetal. I get a lot of real green pepper, you know?
Green pepper, I get like white blueberries, ripe blackberries, the pepper, like you said, like freshly cracked pepper, black pepper.
Man, tannins and doing your gums up and staying with you, and it's a medium to long finish. It's not very long, but it's more up front than it is back in the back.
Like I say, the tannins are chewy. You
Look at that. You're I don't know if my teeth are the same way. It actually coats your teeth with this color.
Completely.
Great bottle of wine, and if you want to find this, look for it because it's not everywhere. So enjoy it. Thanks for choosing this. You really pulled out the stops this time. You know, I'm partying with my party shirt. Man, this is a great way to end any party. And a great way to end this video, I'll tell you. It's Sifona. It comes from Canada. It's what we call a VQA Cabernet, which now VQA is the same as saying for France it would be AOC, and for Italy it would be DOC, and for
California would be AVA.
AVA. So this is really an interesting wine. It's an ice wine. You want it? I mean, I know what it is, but tell everybody what an ice wine means.
Okay, so ice wine are dessert wines that are made in very cold countries, primarily Germany, Austria, and Canada, where even in early October, it gets so cold that sometimes the grapes freeze on the vines in the vineyard.
Before they harvest them.
Before they harvest.
Right.
So they harvest them frozen on the vines, and then they crush them when the grapes are frozen, extracting really all the sugar and the acidity at the same time because the grapes are frozen, they're not dried.
Because as I was explained, the water in grapes, and there is water in the juice, freezes at a different temperature than the sugars. So they actually separate in the grape. And then when they crush them, they throw away the water or the ice crystals, and they're remaining with this luscious, thick, sweet, oh God, nectar.
And Safona, they already have another ice wine from a variety called Vidal, which grows there in Ontario in Canada, and also in upstate New York. And here they decided to do it with Cabernet Sauvignon, so that's very unique. I don't think I've ever heard of ice wine Cabernet Sauvignon
because
ever before,
Vidal is not it's unusual,
Yeah.
but it's not that unusual. But Cabernet, to make an ice wine out of Cabernet, really, I've never heard
Really
of it before.
cool.
Really cool. So it's not only the first kosher ice wine from Canada, it's the first kosher ice wine Cabernet from Canada.
And taste it. It tastes like preserved cherries.
Oh gosh, I think it's raspberries and syrup. Yeah, and I'm not spitting this one. Anyway, great way to end this. What a great wine to end any meal, even sipping in your living room with the fireplace going during this cold winter days. Now,
If you'd like to taste this wine,
there you go. Good segue.
Yeah.
You can do so at the New York February KFWE, which takes place February 11th, or in Los Angeles 2 days later on the 13th.
in London, February the 6th, Tel Aviv, February the 4th.
Delicious way to end a wonderful, wonderful series of tastings. Thank you very much, Gabe.
Pleasure as always, Jay.